The man, the myth, the legend, Han Ji-sung from Stray Kids just came out with a One Kid's Room episode here. Let's get right into this. Let's not waste anyone's time here.
스트레이키즈 한입니다. 원키즈 룸에 다시 돌아왔어요. 예해.
한이 형도 이제 혼자 있을 때 약간 감수성이 많이.
Oh, okay. All the boys are here. Looks like there's only 7. Oh, the 7 other guys other than Han. Interesting. And guys, if you've been following my Stray Kids journey for the past couple years, I think I've actually been reacting to the Stray Kids for over 2 years. And Han has probably become, I shouldn't say probably, Han's become my favorite member of the Stray Kids. And if you're interested in watching like my prior analysis and reactions on him, you can. I go into detail about what I think about him as a person. Definitely think he's a special person. So that's why I was getting so many requests for this, and that's why I'm checking it out.
틈이 있는 날 나한테 계속 연락이 와. 형 뭐해? 하면서 이제.
맞아.
그럼 나 친구들이랑 같이 밥 먹으려고 하면은
나 거기 가도 돼?
요즘은 조금 달라진 것 같은데 어디라도 나가려고 하는 것 같아요. 방에서 계속 있는 게 긍정적인 에너지를 주진 않는 것 같다는 걸 요즘 많이 느껴서 그러니까 집에만 있으면 그냥 하루를 열심히 살았다는 느낌이 별로 안 들어서 운동도 다시 시작한 게 그 이유 때문이고.
Yeah, you know, people change, right? People evolve, people change. Just because someone was a certain way last year or a few months ago doesn't mean that they're still like that, right? A lot of the time we like to put people in boxes. I'm guilty of that too sometimes, for sure. We like to label people or put people in boxes and say, you know, this person doesn't like to be alone or this person doesn't like to go out much. But those things can change, right? We can change easily. From one day to the other, we can change, right? We can start taking an interest in new things or just making a change internally and saying, you know what? I'm going to start exercising. And then you start exercising. You know what? I actually really enjoy this. I'm going to start doing this more and make this part of my routine. So your interests and parts of your personality can certainly shift. You know, I think that's part of the beauty in Han, right? He's constantly kind of changing and growing and evolving. And funny enough, when I first saw him on video, I was like, you don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. It's just so spontaneous, and that's part of why I love him. Like, similar to me not knowing what's going to come out of his mouth, it's like you can kind of apply that to his life. Like, what's he going to do next? What challenge is he going to take on next? You know, what part of his personality is he going to develop next? He's just sort of this unpredictable guy, and in this really cool way, people change, man.
친구들을 만나잖아. 내 친구들이랑 한이랑 같이 만나. 그러면은 나를 소외시켜두고 지네들끼리 얘기를 해. 한이 잘 지냈어? 형 잘 지냈죠? 하면서 지네끼리 막 신나가지고 막 노래방 가고. 신기하다. 신기해요. 좀 안정된 사람들이랑 노는 걸 좋아해요. 모르는 사람이랑 노는 건 되게 싫어하고.
That's totally it. I think I've said that before. Lino obviously knows Han a little bit, just a bit better than me. Not much. But he said, you know, Han likes hanging out with people he knows, people he's comfortable with, right? Because a lot of people, again, back to putting people in a box, I think a lot of people kind of put Han in this box of being this big introvert. You know, there's different people that pull different sides out of you. I get that sense with Han, right? Once Han trusts you and feels like you kind of get him, then he can kind of unleash that awesome personality of his and not be concerned with whether people are judging him because he feels accepted.
또 이제 어색한 분들이 몇 명 계세요. 멤버 빼고요. 멤버 말고요. 멤버는 안 어색해요. 많은 스태프분들이 계시잖아요. 친한 분들한테는 또 친하게 대하는데 아직 좀 낯을 가리게 되는 분들이 아직도 몇 있는 것 같아요. 근데 이거를 그분들이 보면 굉장히 상처를 받지 않을까요?
Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. You know, and I can see Han kind of being awkward around certain people. That's funny. And you think about some of his songs, right? Like the song that comes out to me is Alien. Han for a lot of his life, and maybe I think there's still a part of him that probably feels like an alien, like feels like an outsider, and feels like it's difficult to relate to people. You know, some people just have an easier time relating to people just off the bat. And that might be something that's a little bit more difficult to Han. And I think he's expressed that, articulated that pretty well through some of his music. Yeah, I think that can translate to a little bit of like discomfort socially and awkwardness socially. If you feel like, you know, people don't get you or you can't relate to people, then it's not smooth sailing necessarily. So I still don't think it's smooth sailing for Han in these new social interactions. And he's not like a surface level guy who's going to kind of shoot the shit and just speak with kind of formalities. And he's not that type of person, right? You see some people who are really just very easy when they're like in a new environment and, hey, what's up? How you doing? Like they can kind of shoot the shit on that surface level. And Han's not like that.
그 농구 애니가 뭐였지?
농구 슬램덩크.
슬램덩크에 엄청 빠져있다가
때마다 달라.
때마다 달라서.
또 게임기는 또 사놓고 안 써요.
맞아.
맞네. 한이 닌텐도 사놓고
지금 또 안 해.
아 진짜?
한창 막 얘나 해리포터 해라 이러다가 요즘엔 아무 말도 안 해.
뭔가 하나에 꽂히고 막 하고 끝.
I love hearing them trying to figure out Han. He's such an anomaly, isn't he? But I love that. I love that he kind of just leads with curiosity. Like whatever excites him in that moment, and maybe it only lasts a month or two, he like leans into it and he gets into whatever, the activity that he's into in that moment is. I appreciate that. I respect that. I think that's a sign of him kind of just like knowing himself and like being aligned with his intuition in a sense. Because a lot of us are like hesitant to try new things, or we don't trust our instincts, like maybe I shouldn't get into that, or maybe I shouldn't let myself get into this and I should do this. Like it sounds like Han kind of follows his gut in that sense. You know what? This is exciting to me right now and I'm going to follow this. And I'm not going to like keep doing something that doesn't make me excited anymore. So again, lives very like fluidly, it feels like. He kind of just moves where his interests move. I think that's cool.
그리고 또 이제 인터넷이나 뭐 SNS 같은 거 보면은 나보다 훨씬 잘하는 사람들이 너무나 많으니까 현타도 좀 느끼고 나도 나름 노력한 것 같은데 안 되네 하니까 신경도 예민해지고 말도 솔직히 예쁘게 나가진 못했던 것 같아요. 또 예쁘게 나가지 못하다 보니까 또 신경을 쓰지 않으면 나쁘게 나갈 수가 있구나라는 생각에 또 말을 안 하게 되고.
Man, it's crazy how like when you're in sort of a negative place or a dark place, your mind can kind of spiral like this. Like Han's so self-aware, right? He's, like I said earlier, he's like very tapped in to his mind, to his thought process, which is great. But it can also get the best of you if you're super self-aware and you're always sort of like analyzing your thought patterns. But that said, I think he has the tools to make himself feel good, because he recognizes where these thoughts are going, it sounds like. And once you recognize them and acknowledge them, then it's easier to kind of rectify them in a conscious way. This is why it's such a pleasure listening to him, because we know we're going to get an honest Han. We know we're going to get a glimpse into his mind. A lot of people watching this can relate to this and say, hey, fuck, I feel this way too. I go through this shit too. And he's articulating it well, and he's honest about it. Like, he's so forthcoming and vulnerable, right? Here's a guy who experiences the same feelings as I do, has a difficult time that I can relate to as well, and he's still moving forward through life and accomplishing great things.
남이랑 비교하는 게 굉장히 안 좋은 에너지를 주더라고요. 그 고민들을 떨쳐버리기까지 너무 오랜 시간이 걸렸고 힘들었지만 한번 떨치고 나니까 굉장히 편해지고 내일 내가 어떻게 될지도 모르고 내일 무슨 일이 일어날지 아무도 모르는데 너무 5년 막 10년, 20년 후의 생각을 미리 해버리니까 내가 힘들었던 거구나.
Great advice from Han, and I'm hoping this video helped people watching this. Great advice from him. I think a lot of us, social media can bring that out in a lot of people and a lot of us, comparing ourselves to others online. That's a recipe for negative feelings, for sure, for negative emotions. Everyone's killing it, everyone's happy. There's so many people that are creative and successful and funny and smart, and like that's what it seems like when you go online. It's a dangerous road to go down when you start thinking like that. That's why I always say it's like first thing in the morning, like don't go on social media, don't go on your phone. Like take that time to center yourself and do something that makes you feel grounded, do something that makes you feel good. Whatever it is, it could be your own thing that makes you feel good. Maybe waking up in the morning and throwing your pillows up in the air makes you feel good and grounded. Maybe it's listening to the same song over and over again for the first 30 minutes of the day. Something that grounds you, something that makes you feel good, that makes you feel like yourself. And that way you can kind of start the day as you, not as, you trying to be someone else or thinking you need to be a certain way, which I think is what social media does. I'm loving the advice, and he's not like preaching this advice. Like the advice is coming just from him talking about how he feels and what's been going on in his life and the lessons that he's teaching us here is simply from him just kind of like revealing his thought process and his patterns.
힘들 때 자기를 찾길 원해요.
Very smart.
맞아요.
평소에 의지하던 사람들이. 그리고 찾아주면은 또 되게 좋아하죠.
찾아줬지.
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 내가 생각보다 중요한 사람이었구나라는 걸 다시 한번 느끼게 되는 계기였고 한 귀로 듣고 한 귀로 흘리는 법도 알아냈고.
I mean, all these difficult times are lessons, right? And it sounds like he recently had this difficult period, which he's talking about, where he was staying at home and he didn't want to go outside and he was depressed, right? These are the times that you learn and grow and become more wise and hopefully, learn how to not repeat some of those negative actions and negative ways of thinking that brought you to those darker places, right? Like it's all a lesson. Life's all a lesson. What did he say? Something about, things coming in one ear and leaving the other and not kind of holding on to it. I think that's what he's sort of alluding to, like not holding on to certain feelings, whether it be guilt or shame or fear, in one ear, out the other. Let's not hold on to it. I think that's a very important life lesson.
스케줄 코드였나? 승민이가 한이가 돌아왔다.
맞네요.
그때부터 돌아왔지.
버스 안에서. 지금의 시즌의 한이는 최고죠.
전성기.
전성기 정성기.
월드 베스트가 한지.
That's cool.
월배 한지성.
It's awesome how much they appreciate him, isn't it? It's fucking awesome how much they appreciate him. He's in his prime right now. I love that. It's like crazy to find a group of friends that like talking about each other this much too. Like they love talking about each other. I've said this before, like they're super analytical. I think Chang Bin really leads the way. Like he's in his element whenever they get together and talk about the other members. Like he's on another level when it comes to his ability to observe and analyze and understand people. But they're all good. They're all really good. And they all have something unique to contribute and they all enjoy it. It's a beautiful thing to watch. They all enjoy speaking about each other. They really enjoy trying to understand each other and they really enjoy appreciating each other. It just brings a whole nother level of closeness and togetherness when you can understand people this deeply. When you feel like you really know someone, that appreciation for that person is that much deeper.
외계인?
진짜 외계인.
외계인.
한이는
외계인.
저는 외계인입니다. 외계인이라는 노래를 낸 것도 당시에 그냥 적었던 곳인데 지금은 그냥 다른 의미로 외계인이라고 생각을 하고 싶어요. 그때는 뭔가 사람들 사이에 섞여서 있는 게 힘든 외계 생명체였다면 지금은 그냥 특별한 것 같아요.
Absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. It's funny, we were talking about Alien earlier in this video, and they're all bringing it up. So he's an evolved alien now, and he's unique. That's what he is. He's unique. He's an anomaly. He's one of a kind. You don't know what's going to come out of his mouth, but you do know he's going to be transparent. You do know he's going to be honest. Yeah, sometimes there's moments where he doesn't want to share things, or where he's shy, or where he's feeling uncomfortable, but there's still an honesty to that. Right? There's still an honesty to his discomfort. There's still an honesty to, moments where he's anxious. And there's an honesty to him talking about how he feels. And it's so great because it doesn't ever come across as preachy from him. This is just what's worked for him. So he's not telling you this isn't how you need to live your life. This is just sort of what he's learned along the way. And he doesn't force things on you. I've said this about Han in the past. He's not like intrusive or invasive. And maybe that's to his detriment sometimes. He doesn't ask for help, it doesn't seem like. But again, he's not invasive, so he's not going to tell you this is how you need to act or live.
긍정적으로 생각하다 보니까 저는 되게 특별한 인생을 살고 있는 것 같고 모든 게 기회 같다는 생각도 가끔 들어요. 행복해질 수 있는 기회는 굉장히 많고 큰 행복보다 소소한 행복들이 나를 기쁜 사람으로 만들고 긍정적인 사람으로 만들고 성장시키는구나라는 걸 알게 되었고 좋습니다. 외계인이었습니다.
Essentially, I think the undertone of what he's saying here is be grateful. He's looking at the positive things in his life and the little things that make him happy, the simple pleasures, and not dwell on the negative. So, it sounds like he's got a good sort of understanding of where he needs to be mentally, and he's got to be disciplined in a sense mentally in order for him to be happy, and he's figured out how to, it sounds like. So I think Han has a good understanding now, it seems like more than ever, of what takes him to this happy place and this place where he enjoys life, and also a good understanding of what takes him to that darker, more negative space. So I think it all starts with having an awareness. And I think Han has demonstrated that here. He's very aware.
그리고 생각보다 제가 체크 셔츠가 많이 없어요. 세 개 있어요, 세 개. 여러분 많이 봤을 거예요. 파란색, 이번에 산 노란색. 그리고 데뷔 초에 그 믹스테이프 그 앨범에서 입었던 체크 셔츠 끝입니다. 데뷔 리얼리티 때 입은 빨간색은 버렸어요. 해졌어요. 너무 오래 입어서. 진짜로.
Hey, he knows he's different. He knows he's unique, and you know, it looks like he's kind of just learning to embrace that. But you know, thankfully, we get to enjoy him. Thankfully, he's a very popular, famous person, and because of that, and because of his platform, we get to see how his mind works. We get to appreciate him. We get to be inspired by him. We get to relate to him. So that's the beautiful thing about Han. That's sort of the irony and the beautiful thing about Han is, although he is the self-described alien who can't relate to anyone, who's misunderstood, in reality, he is so relatable and he helps bring us together, and I do feel like I can connect with him and I do feel like I know him, and that's because of the way he communicates these deep emotions. So, Han, if you're watching this, you're not alone. You are super relatable, and thank you for sharing yourself with us and being honest and transparent, because in turn what you've done is you've brought people together. You've made us feel connected, and you made us feel like we're not alone in this whole journey. So thanks to Han. That's all I have to say for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, if you want to watch my uncut reaction, you can go to my Patreon page. I've included the link in my description below. I'll catch you soon. Peace.